Hey guys, Aleksa here, the climbing dietitian, sports dietitian, and nutrition coach. So today's video, what I'm going to be going into is, should you be training fasted versus fed when it comes to your CrossFit training? I get this question all the time from CrossFitters who I work with, and it's such an important topic to cover and to kind of address, because a lot of people out there, they're not fueling themselves properly, or they just don't know what they should be considering when it comes to fueling themselves properly. So hopefully this video gives you a bit more clarification around pre-event fueling, or pre-workout fueling, so to speak. And yeah, let's get into it. So one of the most common questions I get from CrossFitters when I'm working with them as their sports dietitian is, should I train fasted or fed? Or AKA kind of eating before training, so to speak. It's such a common question. I thought I'd answer it in today's video. Keep in mind that it is very multifactorial. There's a lot of kind of considerations you're going to kind of consider when you're actually answering this question for yourself. I will delve into most of these today to help answer this question for you. But throughout all this, keep in mind that there's a few things you got to kind of consider when you actually can effectively answer this question, or whether you should be training fasted or in a fed state. So in today's video, what we're going to really cover is the key considerations and how they can actually help you answer that question and go on from there to optimize your CrossFit workouts. So let's start with the physical demands of CrossFit. CrossFit is largely glycolytic in nature due to the high intensity anaerobic systems that would be in play when you're doing these kind of workouts. There is some aerobic activity in there, and a lot of WODs, or the workouts of the day, are quite mixed as well, so you get both kind of things in play. But really most of it's high intensity anaerobic in nature, and because of that it's very glycolytic, very glycogen depleting, and that's something you've got to consider throughout all this when you're determining what's your best nutrition strategy when it comes to fueling your CrossFit workouts, and why it is important to consider specific nutrition around this. So what are the key considerations? Well, let's start by kind of going through the most common ones and the most important ones you got to consider when you're answering this question of, training fasted versus fed. So the first thing is preference. What's your individual preference? What do you feel better on? Do you feel better when you're training fasted? Do you feel better when you've had some food beforehand? Determine these for yourself will be very important in establishing what is the best strategy for you when it comes to nutrition in CrossFit. Because we're all unique, we've all got kind of different tolerances to different food and different strategies. You've got to really find out what your individual preference is and what you enjoy more, because what you feel better on will be ultimately more beneficial for you and allow you to maximize your CrossFit workouts as much as possible, because you will be able to keep consistent with that plan and you'll be able to kind of feel good on that plan and perform at your best potentially. But I guess the second thing comes into play, and the second consideration is performance goals. And that kind of, can play a part, in a large part in a lot of this is, do you have a specific performance goal in action? Are you trying to achieve something specifically when it comes to CrossFit and performance? Because if you do, then you've got to consider nutrition strategies that can optimize that. And whether you train fasted versus fed can have a big play in this, because you'll find that, especially this can be individual, but generally, you want to be kind of fueling yourself the best way possible and allowing more fuel in the body to be able to maximize that workout. So that's why generally I would kind of get people to have some fuel beforehand, because you're then able to kind of top up those tanks, so to speak, and allow yourself to maximize your training and maximize the performance benefits that you may get from your nutrition. But then in saying that, you also then could consider two other important factors, which is total nutrition and total training. So let's start with total nutrition. So what are you consuming throughout the week in general? Are you fueling and recovering good other times, even though you're not eating before the workout, or even if you are eating before the workout, how's the rest of your nutrition looking? Are you kind of doing a half-ass later in the day, but you're kind of eating something beforehand? Then you've got to consider the balance between this. Total nutrition and what you're eating during the whole day and during the whole week will matter just as much, if not more, than specifically, are you training fasted or fed? And then total training, how much are you actually training during the week? I've worked with CrossFitters that, work out 6 times a week. Some only work out 2 or 3 times. And then you look at intensity. Intensity varies for each individual as well, and how long you're actually training for. You're there for an hour, but how much of that hour are you actually physically exerting yourself? Is it 45 minutes? Is it 30 minutes? Is it less? These things are very important when it comes to determining what the best nutrition strategy for you is and your CrossFit workouts. And it will also help guide you more so as well to determining should you be fueling before your workouts or not. So let's use an example. Let's say someone who's training a lot, maybe 5 times a week, and let's say their nutrition is not up to scratch, generally speaking, then you want to be looking at potentially working on that yourself, but also make sure you're maximizing your potential fueling by eating something beforehand, especially since you're training so much. And let's say in this example, the person's training at a very high intensity level. So it's very anaerobic, very glycogen depleting, and it's very physically exerting. So then because of that, you want to be making sure you're recovering and fueling the best way possible so you can maximize your performance and maximize your workouts as best as you can. And then we come to timing and logistics, which kind of can work hand in hand together. So, how much time do you have before your workout to actually get some food in? Are you working at 5:30 a.m. in the morning, like the really early box gym classes that they do when you do CrossFit, or are you working out after work in the evening? Depending on these will determine, what is available to you, what is ideal for you, what is logistically possible, as well as, timing wise, what can you get in before your workout? Consider these factors because they are important as well. People tend to, not think about timing and logistics, but they have such a big play, especially when we lead busy lives. And of course, this comes down to a lot of planning and scheduling. So it's something that you have a lot of control over most of the time. So keep that in mind if you're determining your nutrition strategy and whether you're training fasted versus fed. How does that work, with your lifestyle, timing wise and logistic wise. So that was some of the key considerations you're going to make an answer for yourself when determining, to answer the question, should you train fasted or fed? But then I also just want to talk about physical change or physique change that a lot of CrossFitters actually want to achieve. So a lot of CrossFitters, especially ones that come and see me, they want to get leaner, okay? They want to feel more confident and, happier in their bodies. And because of that, they're trying to lose weight or whatever it may be, or gain lean muscle. Any of these kind of strategies. Does whether you train fasted or fed affect this? Not really. You really want to be focusing on calorie balance. Now, I did do a video on calorie balance and all the things you got to consider when it comes to this in a previous video. So check that out now after this video, so you can get an idea about that if that's something of interest to you. But yeah, if you're looking at physique change, then timing and nutrition strategies around fasted versus fed doesn't matter so much as calories matter. Okay, calorie balance. Are you in an energy surplus if you're trying to gain muscle? Are you in an energy deficit if you're trying to lose weight? Those things are so key that you don't even have to worry about fasted versus fed so much, unless you're looking at potentially how you're feeling in your workouts. That's a different story. But in terms of solely looking at physique manipulation, don't have to worry about fasted versus fed. You just want to be focusing on calories first and foremost and make sure those are in check and where they need to be before you even consider other things to complement that and optimize your nutrition strategy further. So you're probably thinking, come on, so should I train fasted or fed? Well, I'm going to answer this in terms of how I would kind of help most people, most CrossFitters that come and see me and ask me this question is I tend to recommend that you do consume something before your workout. And the reason being is when you're, this is especially important if you're an early morning CrossFitter. So someone who goes to like an early class, like a 5:30 or 6:30, you are coming from a fasted state because you've been sleeping. So you're already in a glycogen depleted state. Because of that, you want to maximize as much fuel and fill up the tank as much as possible so you have something there to kind of give the most to your workout. And that's why I generally, especially because most CrossFitters tend to work out early in the morning, I generally tend to recommend that you have something beforehand to maximize your performance, maximize your workout, and just, make sure you don't kind of fall from fatigue or kind of, injure yourself, so to speak. But then as I've talked about all these kind of different considerations, you want to make sure that it also suits your individual preference and actually suits your individual lifestyle. So, logistics, timing, and then solely, how does it make you feel? Do you feel better on fasted versus fed? I've had CrossFitters that come to see me and said, I feel like I train harder and better when I've not had any food, and then I just recover later. And that's fine as long as your total nutrition is in check. But you've got to ask yourself those questions. You've got to consider all these factors. But yeah, should you train fasted and fed? Ideally, yes, train in a fed state, have something beforehand. But alongside that recommendation, consider all these different factors and how they come into play to determine the true answer for yourself individually. Now, if you're struggling with this, of course, seek out a sports dietitian such as myself or someone else to really guide you and help you determine what the best nutrition strategy for you is and help you through this. But if you're getting started and you want to give it a go, trial both. What I'll do is trial training fasted, trial training fed, and see which one works better for you, which one feels better, where do you perform better. And from there, you get closer to answering truthfully what is the better strategy for you. So that is something that I want you guys to do if you haven't already. And especially if you're someone that trains nearly every day, really kind of look at how you can maximize your nutrition and really start trialing, if you haven't done so already, fueling before your workouts and seeing how that actually helps benefit your workouts and helps you recover throughout the whole week and see if it makes a difference. But yeah, I want to finish up by saying that at the end of the day though, with sports nutrition especially, you want to be making sure that you are doing no harm to yourself. So if you are experiencing gastrointestinal distress or just don't feel good on a certain nutrition strategy, then that's not the nutrition strategy for you. Regardless of what is in theory the proper way to do it. So consider your own individual GI tolerance when it comes to food and timing of food and whether you eat beforehand or not in terms of your workouts. All these things will be so important when you're determining what the ideal individual strategy for you is and determining the answer to the question, should you train fasted versus fed? So yeah, guys, hopefully that's helped answer that question for you guys. If you do have any more questions, please send me a message through one of my socials, ideally Instagram, and the description's below, the links in the description below, and reach out to me. I'll want to help you guys. I want to help answer any questions you guys have. Of course, you can also leave me a comment. Please like and subscribe, guys. Share with your friends, your family, share with fellow CrossFitters, someone who would benefit from learning more about this nutrition side of things. And yeah, next week, in my next video, I will be going through specific nutrition options that you can go and use and utilize to maximize your CrossFit workout. So we'll look at specific types of, foods to look at. So look out for that video. We'll go into detail on that. And yeah, until next time, guys, thank you. Hey guys, hope you enjoyed the video. Hope it brought you some great value. So what I want to say is, if you are struggling with nutrition, if you want someone to coach you and guide you, please reach out. I've got some spots available in my nutrition coaching program, which is one-on-one private nutrition coaching with myself personally, where I'll help you on your journey to achieve that body that you desire or that peak performance that you seek, whatever it may be. I'm sure I can help you. So if you've got any questions, DM me through my socials, as I said in the descriptions below, or go straight to the link in the description to apply for my nutrition coaching program. It's for action takers only. So if you're an action taker, if you want to change your life, if you want to get better at nutrition, if you want to get the body you want, then seek my help. Let me help you reach your peak potential soon. Thanks, guys.